And we are talking about She-Hulk episode 6, Just Jen. We're going to review the episode and then get into a breakdown of the episode starting now. Welcome to Nerd Social. I'm Nathan.
Hi, I'm Priya.
Hey, so Colin's not with us today, but he'll join us again next week. So, the spoiler-free logline for this episode is Jen is a bridesmaid at her friend's wedding, a stressful event compounded by uniquely She-Hulk issues. So, Priya, what did you think of this episode?
I think it's a fun logline.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were given glimpses of potentials from last episode, towards the end of the last episode that, we can discuss it in the spoiler part. So, but I think, it continues to be a very kind of breezy, tongue-in-cheek, sitcom-oriented Marvel show, and I personally, I like it. I think it's really refreshing and kind of interesting to see Marvel trying to do something like a newer storyline and kind of a newer flavor. Having said that, I do think, there's some, as the logline says, there's some unique She-Hulk issues, and so we do get some action, which I think at some point is slightly awkward. And I think the core of it, even during the wedding, which is what the show is about, as the logline says, is about Jen's acceptance of herself, her as herself without She-Hulk and She-Hulk as well. And I think that the show continues to kind of cleverly come back to that central question for Jen. And I think the title of the episode, Just Jen, kind of epitomizes that in a clever way. So yeah, overall, I think, continues to be tongue-in-cheek, some action here and there in the episode. But we also get a really amazing pairing of two other characters, which I think was a big spotlight of the episode.
Yeah, I liked the episode as well. I liked it better than last week. I don't remember what I gave last week, so I was actually trying to rewatch the previous episode before we joined. But whatever that was, we could bump it up a half a point or so. I just say a half a point because it's still too short. The episode's still too short for me. But I did like that. I know that you'd mentioned that the action was a little awkward, but I appreciate that they actually, use action, whereas they didn't last episode. Also, I feel like the CGI in this episode was better than the CGI in the last episode, which is weird because they actually had her doing action in this episode, whereas in the last episode she was just sitting around in court. But it just looked like it was someone who did a bad Photoshop job and pasted a character in a scene last week, whereas there are other people like physically interacting with her, like touching her, and it looks like she's there. The skin texturing looks better this week. I don't know. I know that Marvel is probably overworking these people, so the inconsistencies are, I guess, to be expected. But yeah, I like the A plot and the B plot. The B plot gave us more Nikki, and we still don't know much about her life, but I still like her, or like her more and more every week because of you're seeing that she's competent, and she also is always in Jen's corner as well. So yeah, all in all, I enjoyed the episode more than last week. I probably back on par with the week before last when we had Wongers and Madison with with two N's and a Y. So yeah. I don't know if it was. Well, almost on par because Madison is very special. So anyway, so any other thoughts before you jump into the spoilers of this episode?
No, let's go into the spoilers.
All right. So if you're enjoying the conversation, please like, share, and subscribe. Helps out the channel. Really appreciate it. And with that, spoilers ahead. Alright, so I guess we could just go in chronological order because there weren't any big surprises in this episode. Well, at the end there was a little bit of a surprise. Well, more of a filling in some where the season is going. The person the people who are stalking Jen or trying to get trying to get some of her blood. Um, so the of course it starts with the wedding invite, which this is obnoxious. Have you ever? I mean, I've been.
Thankfully, I've never received anything that like has glitter jump out at you, but I've definitely received some very elaborate wedding
It's like
slash like
this
be
is.
in
I
my
mean,
wedding. This is
I
definitely
understand
excessive.
like being very happy about the event, but like this is just like, here, you clean up all this glitter now. Like it's very inconsiderate to all the people that you're sending it to have like a glitter bomb in the invite.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like it was a glitter bomb in the invite, and then they put glitter in the thing. So when you open up the thing, open up the card, you spill glitter all over the place. Yeah, it's a lot. Um,
It's a good preview to
Lulu
get
is
to know
like,
what
yeah,
Lulu is
yeah.
like.
It's. I guess it's a very Lulu move. Now that we know more about Lulu, um, yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, this conversation between them is I guess interesting. They're talking about. So we got a hint about the suit, and we got a hint about the super suit. So they talk about it here, but again, we don't get to see it in this episode. It's more teasing us again. Although I guess you got to see like the back of it in the trailer. And it's basically comics accurate. The super suit anyway. We haven't seen at her lawyer suit yet. Um, yeah,
That's why particularly I love this. I love this fourth wall because she pretty much sums
yeah.
up what we're
It's like
thinking,
random because we thought
because we're
Daredevil
like
was going to show up.
one
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. Exactly. And we know the super suit is there, so it's like we want that as an audience, and they
yeah,
know it. So she's like, "Yeah, I know it's an inconvenient time, and it's a standalone wedding episode." So it's again
yeah.
that tongue-in-cheek thing is just so it continues to just like make me
Yeah,
quite
I'm
happy.
surprised that she can still drive comfortably. I mean, like when you buy a car, you buy a car. One of the things that you do is try to see if you fit properly inside the car. And she's a pretty small person, and I think that's a pretty small car. It's not. I don't think she bought an SUV, so I'm surprised that she still fits properly inside of her car. But whatever.
That's a good point. I didn't think of
Yeah,
that.
I have a I
That's a
have a
good point.
pretty smallish car. I'm 6'2", and and it's kind of like a sportish car. But like one of the things I had to when I looked at other cars is to make sure that actually I could get in and out of it. But yeah, I can imagine she couldn't.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an issue now, but I don't know. Yeah, so this CGI, this is the CGI that I was talking about. So right here, it looks a little wonky, but like when she actually is interacting with Lulu, it looks much better. Um, so
Yeah. And I'm wondering if it's interesting when you said that because I was wondering in the previous episode because so much of it depends on in that previous episode she was just still, right? And it depends so much on the facial expressions that you can see the CGI
right,
doesn't capture it. Versus here it's much more dynamic. I'm wondering if that kind of
yeah,
actually helps
maybe.
them.
But yeah, this whole conversation, she looks like, yeah. Even here, I don't know if this is the stand-in or not, but it looks good. And also like the coloring around
Yeah.
her skin. It's not it's not cartoonishly green. You can kind of see texture. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can see a little bit of texture around her, around, like the blood vessels underneath of the skin. You can see the blood,
Yeah.
which is makes it look more realistic. Um, so yeah. Anyway, it does look a little wonky. It looks wonkier when she starts fighting Titania, but I think she only shows up as She-Hulk twice in this episode, which is also probably why it makes it look better. You're not looking at it all the time, and maybe they also had
Mm-hmm.
more time to work on these shots because there were just fewer shots, which probably helps. So yeah, what did you think of the subplot here with Mister Immortal? Um,
Honestly, this was such a nice surprise in
yeah,
this episode. I mean, we talked about how we like Mallory, how we really liked Mallory in the
yeah,
last episode, and we've talked about Nikki a few times. Pairing them together,
yeah, yeah.
amazing. I
It
mean,
seems like Nikki Nikki gets
So
a
much good chemistry.
a side quest with pretty much all the other people. Like she was with Pug last week. Now she's with Mallory. So yeah, it was good. It was really
Yeah.
good. And Mallory seems to be impressed with her by the end because she's the one who helps
Mhm.
resolve the issues with all his wives, and or his ex wives. Yeah, this character I was actually
Yeah.
reading um, for a previous show. I think it was I don't even remember. I think it was Hawkeye or something like that because Hawkeye I think shows up in uh, uh, a Great Lakes Avengers episode comic book. This guy, Mr. Immortal, I think he was like the head of that group. It was like a group of superheroes that was taking the Avengers name, and I think they tried to sue them because they were they weren't very organized, and it was it was it was interesting. So again, this is the kind of character that you can use, and it's not going to upset too many people because
Yeah.
no one. I don't know how many big Mister Immortal fans there are. Um, I mean, I
Yeah.
heard some weird criticism earlier this morning about like, oh, in the comics he's in a monogamous relationship with another immortal, so making him like a guy who's been in lots of relationships is terrible. But like, okay, whatever. I think he's generally like a goofball in the comics.
Yeah.
So to make
Okay.
so
Okay.
I think I'm fine with the change here. Whatever they want to do with him, like there's so many random characters with powers in Marvel comics. I'm glad that they're actually using them. And the other thing is that it just makes the world weirder without having to explain everything with like
Mhm.
origin stories. So um,
Mhm. I also like that it was like, it's not only Jen that's in the
yeah,
hero law division, right? And there's cases that can
yeah,
be done without her. So, but I love this. It's just so funny as well. Like, how many work conversations or how many conversations have you been in where you're like, oh my God, I wish I could just
yeah,
get out of here. And that's kind of how he reacted
yeah.
at the end. It's kind of
This is how
funny.
he reacts to all kinds with any kind of conflict. Apparently, like yeah, it's like I they do start like talking over each other. So like he does suck, but
Yeah.
also even in the the closed captioning, it just says argues indistinctly. So like if you're in that room, so like I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, this guy is. This is also the same guy. If you remember from the Book of Boba Fett, the guy, the Twi'leks major domo. It's the same actor.
Yeah.
See if I can. What is his name? Mister David Pasquasi. Is the actor here. So I don't know. He must have a deal with Disney. He just shows up in all their streaming
Yeah.
shows. Um, Yeah, the Titania, the Titania. I saw this yesterday, and this is what we used for our this little clip was what we used for the thumbnail for for the live stream. So what's funny about this conversation is just like, oh, I didn't come for you, and then while Lulu was talking to her, the way that the way that Camilla like looks at her like a crazy person. Like right here
That
was it was
so good. I mean,
Jamila, yeah,
Jamil is
yeah,
so good as Titania. I mean, she's
yeah,
so good as Titania.
yeah,
I will say that exactly. Like this, that shot is such a money shot, and I think it's even like. So I was gonna say like the conversation even before her that she has with her friend, and it happens right very commonly where Jen just wants to talk about her success, and her friend's like, no, no, no. Do
yeah,
you have a boyfriend? Let's forget everything else. I mean, I think it's funny how they've leaned into the
yeah.
awkwardness in this episode. Because it happens. I mean, that's such a real thing that happens
What do
to
you
many
make
of
of
us.
this Josh dude? Do you think he's working with the wrecking crew
Oh.
or the intelligentsia? Because we found out later on the intelligentsia is who wants to get her blood. Or do you think this guy is genuine?
So initially I was like, oh my God, please don't let that be the groom, because
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
awkward. I, but then I did. I mean, I really want Jen to like have some success because she got slammed the last few
I
episodes
mean,
about her
she
dating life, right? So you kind
to
of,
her point though, she has a lot of success though.
just
Like,
as Jen.
huh? Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. No, I mean like she obviously got like her ego
yes, in
bruised
the previous
massively
episode, yes,
when she's
yeah,
Jen
yes,
versus
and
She-Hulk, right?
yeah,
So I think
it would be good.
it's a nice balance for her to get the attention, but then I definitely was like, is he
I
or
don't know.
isn't he?
I feel like I guess we're going to be suspicious of everyone until we figure out who's trying. Like, we see who's behind the
Yeah.
trying to get her blood. Um, and I guess I don't know if she has to live like that for the rest of her life. She has to be suspicious of anyone who gives her any kind of attention because of what their
Right?
ulterior motive might be. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Lulu's terrible. Like she asked her to straighten up because apparently she's being crappy to the wait staff. Um, yeah, this they're
Oh my
all
God.
his wives apparently had a child with one of them. He was with one of the. I mean, like I don't know. I guess his ability to stand any of them definitely varies because he's with one of them for 18 years. Yeah. Eh, I'm glad it's interesting. I'm glad that they had a guy in here for to add some diversity or some just something else to the mix because he says like later on that he doesn't think that he could ever understand women, but he's apparently attracted to men and women. So I don't know what the and he was he failed with that relationship too. So I don't think it's women, obviously. Um,
True.
yeah. Uh, let's see. So this is, I think this is also when we hear the name Intelligentsia, and people have been talking about this for weeks now. Intelligentsia is just like a supervillain group of like um, geniuses, like the leader, and who we heard I think a month ago now, almost not a month ago, a few weeks ago from on D23 that he's going to come back in the Captain America movie. Let's just give her laundry. I mean, this is like I understand it's a comedy, but like yeah, it's a comedy. Like in the real
Mm-hmm.
world, after the second chore that you were given that no one else is taking, you would just leave. Especially like you're making me go to this wedding in the middle of
Yeah.
the week. You're obviously, and it's obviously on the cheap because she has like a cash
Yeah.
bar. But I'm doing all the manual labor. Everyone else is like having fun. It's like Wednesday and Thursday. This wedding is like Wednesday and Thursday in the middle of the week. Anyway, oh, and then they bring out this.
Yeah. And we know
Sorry.
from, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Jonathan, yeah. Who is very cute, by the way, but
I
like,
mean, he's cute. He's
you
he's
know,
he's ugly
it
cute, but
is
sure.
it's it's just it's a very it is an odd way how they all treat Jen, right? And I think it's again like it's done in a very sitcom way, but I think it's interesting how Jen probably for the first time actually wanted to be
Yeah,
She-Hulk, right? I
yeah,
think very proactively she's like, this is the one time I actually wanted to be She-Hulk and now I have to be Jen. Versus in her professional life, she kind of has been
right,
wanting it the
right.
other way around for a while. Uh, but they treat her terribly. And even at the beginning, they say, they're not that close, but it's just the
From high school, yeah,
obligation,
yeah,
that
yeah.
she has
She's
to go
been
through.
she lost touch after high school, but she thinks that she's obligated to go, and she also thinks that Lulu felt
Yeah.
obligated to invite her. Ah, we get more Chad, and he's the chattable, chattable Hawk. So yeah, you can see. So like, she's definitely like cash bar wedding in the middle of the week, which is probably going to be cheaper for her. She has Chet as the DJ. She didn't have any money. Like there's like 30 people at this event. Yeah,
But we never see the groom, right? Like we don't know who the groom is. That's why I was like, is Josh supposed to be the groom?
I
Because we
don't
never see
know.
him.
I guess he's not important to the which we call it. I don't know why they hired all the groomsmen though. If they weren't gonna hire an actor to play the groom, But yeah, this is just Nikki negotiating
Yeah.
with everyone and doing a good job at it. Yeah,
Nikki
yeah.
shining.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's good. She's good. She's I like Nikki. She
Yeah.
might be just because Jen, when she's not She-Hulk, kind of acts like a doormat. She might be my favorite character on the show. Nikki. I don't know. Because like I don't see Nikki like sitting there and like doing all the stuff that Lulu told her to do. Like after the first thing, you want to help out because it's your friend and whatever, but like iron all the dudes' shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 she wouldn't. I mean, even in this episode, right? I mean, I'm skipping a little ahead, but like, it was clear that Mallory and Nikki
yeah,
enjoyed working together, and then they had that conversation about
yeah.
intelligentsia, and Mallory was like, don't tell,
Which is a
don't
little
tell Jen,
suspicious.
and Nikki doesn't
Yeah,
even.
which is a little suspicious. Yeah,
You think so?
like I want Mallory to
Interesting.
not. So like part of me is like, okay, if Mallory ends up being a bad guy, that's I guess basically just like the comics because Mallory is sort of a bad guy in the comics. But I don't know. This is
Mm,
also a show written by women, and I don't know if they might have made a conscious decision not to have her be rivals with so many different women because that's kind of like a tropey thing.
yeah,
Um, because she's
yeah,
already a rival of Titania. And they might even try to redeem Titania. Like, I don't know how many people could be in on the plot because technically, I guess Titania could be in on the plot as well to get her blood, and Mallory could be on. Like, we don't know who her husband is. We find out this in this episode that she has a husband and a child. Maybe one of her husband is like the head of the intelligentsia. Um, yeah, so who knows? Like, yeah, and this is when she was basically confiding in him that she wanted to come as She-Hulk because everyone is like she's so amazing, but yeah, and she didn't get to.
mm,
But she is sharing a bunch here with this guy. She's super drunk, which
yeah,
is what made like I don't think that he does anything that's super suspicious, but like I'm just concerned for her because she's very vulnerable. She's very drunk, and she's sharing too much.
exactly.
Like if he has bad intentions, it's not going to end up great for her. That's why. Yeah,
Our brains are also conditioned to the
yeah,
Marvel way now that even we
yeah,
suspect him to possibly be, part of intelligentsia or like
yeah.
hiring the wrecking
So is she
crew.
just like more durable even in Gen mode? Because I feel like this would have broken someone's ribs, or
That's what I was thinking. I thought the same. I'm like, some of the She-Hulk, kind of armor must be penetrating. I mean, she
yeah.
can't fight as clearly as we
Yeah,
see. She
she's
can't she
also
can't
still
really
drunk
fight,
because of the
but
alcohol, right? So like,
once.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Some of this action worked for me, like her bagging her back like here when she stomped on the ground when she changed
Mhm.
to like uh, push her into the thing. I feel like she's gonna have to pay for this. Like she's at someone else's venue, but like yeah, this
Yeah.
but that was pretty cool, but the rest of the fight was a little sloppy on both ends because I feel like neither one of them actually know how to
Yeah.
fight. They just have super strength. so
Yeah.
so they're just wildly swinging at each other. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's comical and I get it. And I think you're right that they don't know how to fight, right? Because Titania is an
right.
influencer and, Jen is a lawyer and but I do think it's interesting where when Titania first punches her, Jen is like, I knew it. So she knew that there were like Titania had some, kind of superpowers
No, no, no.
or super strength.
I think everyone
I
knew that
like
she had superpowers because it was in the media. What she knew, I think she was saying that like she was lying about not
oh
being
that she
there,
came
like
her
yeah,
way.
not being there for her. Yeah, yeah, that's
Gotcha,
what she
gotcha.
was
Oh,
talking
okay.
about. Yeah,
Yeah. So I didn't mind the fight scene. I just hated that it ended so
yeah,
slapstick. Like she trips on the ice and breaks her teeth kind
yeah,
of or veneers. I wish it wasn't such a
yeah.
slapstick end because it just felt
Yeah.
very awkward.
So yeah, this is like you said, the intelligentsia thing. She goes and she tells her immediately. And then we get to see that they're obviously monitoring
Yeah.
her. Yeah, she Hulk, and I think this Hulk King guy is the guy that she went on the date with, who was so interested in her. He,
Oh, the one who was like
the
who called her a
specimen, yeah,
specimen and
yeah,
all of that.
yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
We didn't get an after credit scene again. I'm starting to be annoyed because they conditioned us to kind of like
I know.
expect after credit scenes, and we didn't get an after credit scene. But yeah, um,
Yeah, and they gave it to us so early in like their trailer or one of their trailers that Daredevil is coming, and now so we're just like looking for him every episode. Watch him be like how the season
I don't know.
ends,
I feel like she's
fills
going to
in
do
with
the intelligentsia. So there's only 3 episodes left, and he'll maybe show up in the next episode, or the penultimate episode. So yeah, we get some pictures here of, I don't know. So like Lulu's kissing Ched. I don't see the groom anywhere in these pictures. Huh?
But it says Lulu and Adam, so at least we know that the groom's name is Adam and not Josh. This was the thing where I was like, okay, at least Josh
Yeah.
isn't the groom because it says
But
Lulu
yeah,
and
she
Adam.
shouldn't. I don't know where Adam is.
She's kissing Chad.
Yeah, and then we see the her getting her veneers. She's getting her veneers fixed,
Yeah.
and she's live streaming it apparently.
And she's
Yeah.
live streaming. Yeah. I love these little sketches at the
The
end.
20
Even this,
seconds,
like
yeah.
the 20-second eye contact apology.
Yeah, it was great.
It's clever.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good, fun little episode. I mean, at this point, you kind of know what the show is. You're either
Yeah.
in on it or you're not. And if you're not, you can just skip to the next one, and just know that She-Hulk will show up in other things, probably the Avengers movie, maybe even something sooner. But yeah, it was a fun episode. I'm looking forward to Matt showing up probably next week. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it too, and I was wondering when they first showed the intelligentsia message board if some of that was like, some of the hate that the show is actually
Probably,
getting.
yeah, or what they
Probably.
assumed was going to happen, because I think people started complaining about She-Hulk way before it was even debuted. I mean, there's been the MCU stuff that's been for the last year, even though the vast majority of the Marvel projects have been white male led, but whatever. Yeah, they definitely they definitely are good at anticipating the vitriol that the show gets. So yeah. Anyway, that is what we think, but we want to hear what you guys think. So comment down below, like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next week. All right, guys. Bye.